Hello, everyone. Jeff here. It's Friday. I made it. Long weekend is here. Thank God. Um, I'm finally making the contest entry that I meant to make, I think, on Tuesday. But I've been sidetracked a little bit this week, as you can see from the videos I ended up making instead. And so this is a contest entry for B-Side Records. Um, I've been watching. I'm a new subscriber to you, Beth. I've been watching some of your videos. I even commented on a couple today, and really like your channel. I really like the stuff you show. My opinion is that we need more women in the VC. So anything I can do to support that, I'm all for. So that's why I'm entering your contest. And it's a pretty simple one, which is good. It makes it easier to want to enter. The simpler you can make it, the better. Just 3 questions, and I'm doing all 3 for however many max entries I can get, which I think is 2. I'm going for it. I've got something for all 3, so let's jump right in. The first question was to show anything Queen related, like whatever Queen you have in your collection. And for me, it's pretty simple. I like Queen, but I'm not a huge fan of Queen. So these 2 records I've already seen pop up in several other videos entries, so it's really not going to be anything fancy. I have Night at the Opera 2. I think this is a Butterfly Electra copy. Yes, it is, as you can see. Gatefold. Pretty standard stuff. Like I said, I've seen it pop up in other people's videos. So I'm no different. This is a great album. And yeah, the other one being is another common one is News of the World. This one opens up. It opens up vertically. It's a vertical gatefold. It's kind of a cool picture, I always thought. And I believe this one is a. Oh, it's got a custom label on it. Okay, there you go. Nice. Yeah, I like Queen. I'm not a huge fan of them, but that's not to say I would be against buying more of their albums in the future. But my interests have been all over the place lately, so who knows? But those are the 2 that I've got for Queen. I know. Gonna make up for it on this next question. Which is to show your favorite movie soundtracks. And I've got 3, starting with one from my all-time favorite movie. Probably one of my all-time favorite movies. I'd probably put it easily in the top 5, and that's Pulp Fiction. This copy was sealed when I got it. Found this at an estate sale for $1. One of the best deals I ever got. And here's the back. I probably can't read the track list. I'll read that here in a minute. I'll just give you a quick look at the record. It's on the MCA label. This is an original copy from '94. The thing about soundtracks for me is they have to be good albums. It's like you can't. I don't want to hear just the background music from a scene as a track. If it's actual songs, then I can deal. But and like in this case, there's snippets of dialogue from the movie interspersed throughout the songs. That's fine. I actually enjoy that. So I'm not. I like soundtracks, but like I said, it has to be something that I'm going to want to pull and listen to, and hopefully the majority of it is would make a good album, even if it didn't have an affiliation with the movie. Of course, Son of a Preacher Man is a famous track off of this. Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, covered by Urge Overkill. That was a big hit for them. Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang, when they were actually cool. That's always good. What else is on here? You Never Can Tell by Chuck Berry. So there's the track list. It's kind of small type. But Pulp Fiction's, like I said, one of my favorite movies. I can put it on anytime and watch it and be happy. And it's next year it's going to be 25 years old. If that things like that make a person feel old, because I remember seeing this in the theater. I made a special trip to see it in the theater. So that's my first soundtrack. The second soundtrack also hangs together pretty well as a good compilation type album, and that's Good Morning Vietnam. Made to sound just like a radio broadcast by Adrian Cronauer, the title character, played by Robin Williams. And you can see, I'll bring in you can see these song titles there. It's pretty much it's a pretty decent 60s compilation. You know, you've got Motown, you got Martha and the Vandellas, you get the Beach Boys with I Get Around, you get some kind of nugget-like tracks like Sugar and Spice by the Searchers, Baby Please Don't Go by Them, 5 O'Clock World, and of course it ends with Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. This is actually probably my oldest soundtrack. This is from the original collection, and here's just the record label. It's got the 80s style A&M label there. I remember buying this right after this movie came out. Like I said, I wasn't really into soundtracks then, but this stayed with me throughout the years, and it's a good album, you know, on top of it being a good movie. So the soundtrack here is Good Morning Vietnam as my second of the three that I'm going to show. Now the third one also basically hangs together pretty well as an album, and it's by movie with Patrick Swayze. Now I know what you're thinking. Patrick Swayze. Dirty Dancing? No. Point Break? No. Ghost? No. All good movies. I'm a fan of Mr. Swayze's work, but for my money, when you're talking Patrick Swayze movies, you only have one choice, and it's Roadhouse. There you go. For a hard rockin' good time, you come to the Roadhouse. Yep. The good thing about this, and again, sorry for the glare. Hopefully you can read the artists and the song titles here. You'll see that about half the album is done by the Jeff Healey Band, who they were the house band in the movie. So that's a good thing. We like that. It's the reason why I got this. I'm a big fan of Roadhouse anyway, for not quite the same reasons as Pulp Fiction, but basically it got overexposed on basic cable in the 90s. It got burned into my brain from repetitive watching, and if it pops up anywhere, if I happen to catch it, I can, like I said, I can sit down and watch it and be happy no matter where I am in the movie. So it's got everything. It's got good action. It's got cheesy dialogue. It's got wooden acting. It's got bad 80s hair and clothes. And it's got Patrick Swayze. This movie's got everything. I mean, how can you resist this? Ladies, I ask you. I almost can't resist it. But besides the Jeff Healey Band, you get a track from Bob Seger, a song called Blue Monday. I don't think it's the New Order version either. You get These Arms of Mine by Otis Redding. You get a Little Feat track called Red Gumbo. And you also get 2 tracks by the man himself. Swayze does Raising Heaven and Hell Tonight. That says it all. I mean, it's not quite in the realm of, you know, Don Johnson, who was just looking for a heartbeat, or even like Jack Wagner. You know, all he needs is a little more time. But Patrick Swayze, Raising Heaven and Hell Tonight, That's entertainment right there. Seriously. And believe it or not, this is a gold stamp promo too, on top of everything else. Yeah. So it's on the Arista label, as you can see. And what more can I possibly say? These three soundtracks are three great movies, and all three of these make pretty good to darn good albums on their own, besides being affiliated with a movie soundtrack. So, Pulp Fiction, Good Morning Vietnam, and Roadhouse. Yeah. Enough said. Okay. We move to the third part of the contest entry, which is to show anything horror related. Now, I wish I had something unique, like some kind of horror item or collectible or something like that to show, but I really don't. So what I'm going to do is I got a couple of books here by the master of horror himself, Stephen King. I think I showed this in a video ages ago for a different contest. But Salem's Lot by Stephen King was the first book that I read by him when I was probably 9 years old. And I'd seen the TV movie with David Soul playing Ben Mears. And me calling him Hutch the entire time I was watching it. And it scared the crap out of me as a little 9-year-old. So what do I want to do? I want to get the book. And I want to read the book too, so I can get even more scared. Yeah. And that's exactly what it did. This is probably the only book by him that I could say honestly creeped me out. You know, other books are good too, don't get me wrong. He's written many, many good ones. But at this point, after reading him since 1979, you know, it gets to where you can just appreciate the quality of the writing or his style, or if he's just on for that particular book, because he's written a lot of crap too. But for this one here, Salem's Lot, it knocks it out of the park. And chances are I'll be rereading this before too long. I reread this a couple years ago. I'll probably pull it again in a couple more years and read it. Just because it's a great book. And this one here, I think this one holds the record for the longest book I've ever read. This is The Stand. It's the complete and uncut version. I think this clocks in at like 1,100 and something pages. I tried rereading this again, I think earlier this year. Yeah, it's like 1,150 pages. But I wasn't feeling it. That's no reflection on the book. I still want to reread this again, but it'll have to be somewhere down the road eventually. Here's just the back cover. There's the man himself. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've got horror related that I could show you. I almost thought about bringing this whole camera setup downstairs to show you the bookcase, which has nothing but Stephen King in it, but I don't know if that would necessarily count because he doesn't always write strictly horror books. So I just picked those two here to show you that this isn't an original hardcover. This is a reissue. This one isn't original. I bought this one in 1990 when it first came out, brand new. So the paperback I've got of this one is really beat to hell, and it's in delicate shape. So I tracked down a later pressing of this. That's not pressing, printing. I've got records on the brain here. Printing of this book when it was re-released in hardcover. So there you go. Those are my 3 entries. I hope they're acceptable to you, Beth. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy yours. And I'm glad I was finally able to make this contest entry for you. So all that said, everybody take care. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope everybody is able to relax a little bit because I know I'm sure going to. And I'll talk to you guys again next week. So till then, take care. This is Jeff, and I will see you soon.